Hey, welcome back to Milton Daily Homes. Chuck here. We got a list of 18 properties that includes today and yesterday. I had a fundamental choice to make yesterday, and that was either do the video or go home and see my kids. And so, hey, sometimes family wins. And so we've got the first one. I sort by price. So I'll actually take this little button here. I'll sort it by price. The $1 million stuff comes in first, I guess, because of the first digit. So we've got Appleby line 2.5 million. And what's interesting is it says the home is going to stay, 4-bedroom home, until the $1 million home is completed. So I'm not really sure what they're selling here. Is it in the plan phase, or are you actually buying a home that's going to be completed? If it's brand new construction, is that something where HST would even have effect? So there's lots of things to think about here. The other neat part of this is it's got a 50 by 150 foot arena. So you think you like street hockey, why not invite your friends over and have a big skating rink? That's pretty cool. Millside is 2.25, and maintenance fees are $577, and they include basically heat, hydro, cable, and actually for including electric baseboard heat, that's a pretty affordable amount. My understanding is the building is undergoing renovations. It's not the fanciest building. Like between this and 100 Millside across the street, 100 Millside actually creates, I think, a better impression when you walk in. But it's a great location. It's right by Mill Pond. You've got a great walk square. You're close to everything. You can go to the curling club just down the street, and that's a good thing. And the other thing is that there's not many 3 bedrooms for 2.25. So there's very few 3-bedroom condos, period. And so for that reason, I think this one fills a nice little niche. Although I believe it's been hanging around for a little while. So 235 Bronte number 27 is at $319. And so it's a couple doors down from another one for sale for a lot less than this. And in fact, if they sold for this, I'm pretty sure that they would break the record for condo towns. And it's amazing because when I moved to Milton in 2005, the first number for these places started with a 1. So it's amazing to see the appreciation. I don't think you could really do much more in this home. I have seen some of the stuff on Childs has sold up in the 3s. There's been a couple that have sold there, just a handful. And I think they've actually broken that ceiling. So 319 is actually not that far off, I don't think. I'd be surprised if they stretched it that far up, although it is a very nice location within the complex too. So we'll see what happens with that. They've had some issues with the condo, with the maintenance fees and theft of fees and all that kind of stuff. So the board itself, I think, is on the up and up, but had some historical problems. So Hasselfeld is at 334.9, and so it's a Woodbine model. It's 1356 square feet, 2-bedroom, 2-washroom. The photos are terrible, and I mean, even opening this stuff up just brings more light into the space, but it's a good deal. We've seen some of this particular model, like we've seen them sell up in the 350s, so I think they're definitely priced very aggressively. I think it's a good deal if someone can scoop it for the right price, and maybe that happens because of the presentation and a lot of buyers are just skipping it. So Derry Road here is about 50 square feet smaller. It's the end unit, so it's just a little bit under 1,300 square feet. $369 is the price. It's a very basic model. I don't think this one has the chops. Plus, there's condo fees on top of this one. Now, it's a good location close to the university, and I appreciate that. I think that you could potentially 3 rooms in here. You could rent them out individually. You could have something of a student house, which is where I think this complex is going, to be honest. That field there, I mean, directly there, I don't believe is the university, but just over here, I believe, is where it's going to start. I'd much rather go to another street, even within a kilometer of this, take it without the condo fees, and then you're all set. I just think that little $50 a month is a little pain in your side that's never going to go away. Clark Boulevard is 409, semi-detached, 1,800 square feet. And there's one photo. They take a little bit of a hit for being on Clark, which is, for most people, believed to be a busy street. October 31st is the possession. Whenever you see that date, you know that it has some special meaning. But it's about 1,700 square feet, 3 bedrooms. The kitchen actually looks pretty good. And that's basically what you're getting for 409. I actually think they got a pretty good price on this one, and they should attract a lot of attention. Megson's 429, so we're dealing with a home that's 1,980 square feet. About just over 400 of that is the basement. We have seen quite a few of these. So it's a North Star home. You've got a family room plus a kitchen dining. Colors are good, but we've seen this model sell with actually half decent stuff above and below the 400 mark. So at 429, I'd be surprised, and that's including the finished basement, all the ones I'm comparing to. I just don't know if it's going to hit 429 or anywhere close to that. Davis Lane is 439. Same thing, townhouse, you've got a 20-foot property, and it looks like they've got the fence that's extended. They've done a good job in the backyard of putting some extra things there. Pretty open concept floor plan. It doesn't back onto Main or anything like that, like a lot of the Davis stuff. That's usually a builder finished basement, and then you've got a nice little private backyard here. 439 seems like it's within the zone. We'll have to see. It's a location where potentially there's a lot of stuff close by. But the homes aren't always as pretty as some of the Mattamy ones. So Schreier Crescent is 489. It's about 1,600 square feet. It's got one room here plus the kitchen. And white kitchen, very light colors. It's good. We sold one same size as this one, similar elevation outside on Cahoon recently. And so what Cahoon had was it fronted onto some green space and it had some hardwood floors and a bit of a different color scheme. So that was up in the 490s. And so this one at 489 is certainly in the range. I think that some of the smaller double car garages right now have actually kind of hit a bit of a low tide. So it's actually a good time to pick them up. Great home if you've got one or two kids. You want the double car garage. It's a pretty quiet street too. So that's all good. It's all working for that home. Fourth line is 1,742 square feet. It's a Mattamy home. 509, 786. And actually the two homes right next to each other are for sale. And the kitchen doesn't really have an eat-in. You got to take that crap off the top. It doesn't work for the photos. Yeah, it's got a basement apartment finished. I mean, that would be the only reason I'd ever consider it going above probably 470. But I don't think they're going to hit 509. I think that's just a little bit too ambitious. The nice thing for some people is that you can park two cars side by side. I don't know why they wouldn't have shown a basement apartment or a second kitchen. I think for the people who need that, you want to be glaringly obvious that you have that kind of thing. Gutowski's 536. It's about just under 2,200 square feet. You've got the shoelace point of view, I guess, here, the low version. Never looks good. And the home itself, there's nothing wrong with it. I think the price is a little bit on the higher side for what you're getting. I would say that once you start hitting 530, 540, you start getting into a range where as a single car garage, you're going to start to rub up against the double car garages. So there's a fundamental decision that's made. And so the higher up you go, the more that you start to conflict with some of those properties, even though they may be smaller. I think buyers are really making a decision. Do I need one or two cars? Now, speaking of which, this one on Fourth Line, you can park two cars side by side. The neighbor's also for sale. We just profiled a couple homes ago. I remember this home because the previous owner called me when it was for sale a couple years ago, and I made some comments that it was on the intersection of two busy streets. It's right on the corner of Derry and Fourth Line. And so I said, look, it's on two busy streets. And she said, well, you said that it is. And I said, of course it is, right? I mean, someone's going to find that out before they buy your house. And what turned out, I mean, they ended up selling it in a couple days, broke the record for the model. This home is about mid-1,800 square feet. So you've got separate living dining room plus family kitchen. The other comment I had before was that the kitchen is not huge. I mean, it's hard to have two people in this kitchen at the same time for cooking. It does have a nice little handy breakfast bar here. But it's not a massive kitchen. It has a fair bit of cupboard space, especially with the extra pantry. You can't, that's just what it is, right? So it's a good open concept floor plan. You've got 3 bedrooms upstairs plus a big laundry. So here's the thing about this home is that you've got a lot that's about double the size of a normal lot. I mean, that's bigger than a lot of old Milton properties, but you're going to hear the road noise. So it's not a private, quiet backyard. It's pretty private actually with the trees, but it's definitely not quiet. So take that into consideration. From my perspective, I think that those two features would cancel out. I mean, I would think that for a yard that size, you'd easily pay $20,000 extra, and then for being beside the road, you might take a hit of 20. So I assume, basically simplifying it, that those two factors cancel out. And so what you're left with is, would this home sell inside the subdivision for $549? It'd be a little tight, but I'll tell you what, this agent lately has been selling this particular model for big numbers, and it's 2 or 3 in a row. So he's really done a favor for all the Wyndham Corner owners in this entire subdivision. So I wish him luck, because he's really on a hot streak. So Snyder Terrace, $579 is the price. We got about 2,100 square feet. It's called a Snowberry. It's built by Mattamy. All of these pictures, I believe, were from when they were selling themselves, and there's nice upgrades in here. Same thing as before. If you're at 580, you've got almost exclusively double car garages here. And so here's the shots that were missing before, is the finished basement and then the green space. They didn't have those, and those were two of the big value points on this home. Again, probably parking 2 cars side by side. It would certainly break the record for this model. I think that you don't get much more than that when you're looking at single car garage homes. But even something like this on Row, it's $20,000 higher. It's a couple hundred square feet bigger, and it's got a nice sized property. It doesn't back onto green space, but it's got the hardwood. The kitchen is the basic part of this home. I mean, I don't know if that's a builder island or if they just kind of made this themselves. It doesn't really match. You don't have the matching hood fan. It's very hard to overspend in your kitchen. I think that really, in today's day and age, is the fundamental, heart. It's the center of the hub of the whole house. So you've gotta deliver on the kitchen. I don't think that there's many bad return on investments for good smart money put into a kitchen. You've got Scott here. It's around the same size as the previous one. It's at $629. It's a Heathwood home with a finished basement. Beyond that, I don't know a lot. I don't have the pictures, so it's hard to really make an educated call on that one. And the big thing about Heathwoods, they command a premium, but for value cancellation, I would say you're on Scott, so you take a bit of a hit for being on a busier street. Rolfe Terrace is $649. I don't see many homes in the 6 to 7 range that really get me excited. I think that there's one over on Nunn that I think is a pretty good deal. Hardwood on both floors, good layout. This one's even bigger than that one by about 200 square feet. It's almost 3,000 square feet. It has a walkout basement. It's got some nice finishes, even a curved staircase. So many of the builders now are just so square and set, and it's nice to have a little bit of curve and flow to it. You've got a defined entry. You've got a family room, kitchen, and dining room. The kitchen is not as open concept with the rest of the house, and so that's one of the complaints on this model. But I think they've chosen good colors. They've done the hardwood landing upstairs. It looks like one of the bedrooms, or possibly all the bedrooms, have hardwood. Actually, I'm just looking at the description here. It looks like it doesn't. And then you've got green space behind. So the size of the home, the green space, the finishes, and the fact it has a walkout basement is a little bonus. $649 is an awesome price. And there's a new school being built right near here, so the kids could even walk to school. You have Brush Road. Whoops, a little too. The mouse is going all over the place. So in this neighborhood, this is just off of Maple. It's hard to crack $650. We've seen a lot of homes try, very few succeed. And when you look at this one here, that backsplash is really going to hurt them, I think. I don't know if people are really going to fall in love with that. Another example of where stainless steel appliances may have made an impact. And you can really buy a set of stainless steel appliances. They even did the hood fan stainless steel, so they're a quarter of the way there, or a tenth of the way there. Buy them for $2,000, $2,500, and the impact that it creates is very, very strong. So the rest of the home it's all right. It's not bad. It's got a decent sized lot at 45 by 85. But I just think for what else is sold on Norrington and in the area, they're probably a little bit high. Drysdale's at $749. So this is the same model. This is better finish, but this is the same model as Nunn at $639. Over $100,000 difference. Exact same floor plan. And like I said, this one beats it, but I could put in a new kitchen for 30 or 40 into none if I wanted to and have it compare with this. It still just doesn't, it doesn't relate. It's not there, at least from what I'm seeing on paper here. They're going to have a real tough time. There was a very nice home on Leargate recently, same model as this, $659. They had got an offer at $659. So it's one of those things where you can't fight the averages too hard. And the more that you improve the home, the more you fall off that bell curve. It's not going to happen. I can't see these guys doing anything, although Drysdale's a very nice street. So that's the list. If you have any questions at all, give us an email. If you want to join us on tour, come see any homes on the weekend. We are still around. It's a long weekend. And for a lot of people, what happens is they actually have more time. They have a whole extra day where they can actually do stuff. So it can be a real advantageous time before the fall market kind of comes back up. There's a couple good deals right now. So have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow with more Milton Daily Homes.